Social shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can put all that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. We are here today to take a look at the evolution of a wide player. Well, gone are the days when managers just used to play 4-4-2. It was very simple. It was very easy. You had your left midfielder, you had your right midfielder, you had your two strikers and two central midfielders. None of this, you know, inverting winger, inside forward, you know, or a striker who basically plays on the wing. As you can tell, I'm really stuck in the past, right? But, you know, all jokes aside, I think, you know, you're looking at tactics, you're looking at styles of play these days, and you can see, you know, how much it has. Of course, it's changed, you know, over the years. But, you know, one of the positions I think that's changed quite dramatically is, you know, the role of a wide player, you know, in terms of what they're actually tasked to do. You know, what are we actually, as fans, as pundits, sometimes even as managers, what are we actually expecting, you know, from those kind of players? Now, of course, when we think back to, you know, wide players, you know, we'll call them wingers, left midfielders, right midfielders. When we think back, I think two players who, you know, especially fans of England, but two players who come to mind straight away is Giggs and Beckham. One was left-footed, played on the left wing, or on the left midfield. The other was right-footed and played on the right. You've also got players like Luis Figo as well, Pavel Nedved as well, again, left foot, right foot. You know, there are various other players, but those two really do, you know, epitomize when we do look at midfielders left and right, you know, because there was none of this fancy stuff. Of course, this is during a different era, of course, but there wasn't that fancy stuff. He was left footed, he'd play on the left, he'd run on the outside, he'd cut in if he needed to. David Beckham did the exact same thing, you know, just on the other side, you know, and there wasn't this overcomplicated role that they kind of had. I felt like, you know, we weren't expecting so much from them. It was kind of really just your simple, listen, ultimately you are a midfielder, so we do expect you to chip in with both goals and assists, but we also expect you to, you know, come back and defend, you know, and help out, you know, your fullback every now and again. You know, we don't expect you to just, you know, stay forward, because ultimately you're not the striker. So, you know, you don't deserve that role, and you have to be really good at getting up and down the field. Now, listen, look, I'm not saying that today's game, they don't expect you to defend and, you know, all of these kind of things. Of course we do. And to be honest, I feel like the onus may be on defending because of the way teams like to, you know, to press, you know, from the front. It becomes probably even vitally more important, you know, if, you know, to be defensively switched on and aware. It's not even so much about being double teamed at the back with their fullback. It's more, we need you to actually press from the front, because that's the way that we're actually playing. You're now the first technical defenders that we've actually got on the field, as opposed to before you looked at it and said, well, the defenders are the people playing at the back. You know, now it's we defend from the front. So we need our striker, left wing, right wing. We need them to be able to, you know, be really, really switched on in those kind of moments. So yeah, it's not to say that so much has changed in terms of certain roles. It's more, I would say, perception and emphasis on the players themselves. And of course, listen, look, over the years, certain players have also, you know, kind of changed the mindset that we have now gotten, you know, in regards to certain players and, you know, positions and what we expect. You know, players such as Ronaldinho, for one, you know, someone who was would we say, wide forward, if you want to call him that, you know, playing on that left-hand side, sometimes appearing on that right-hand side. You know, what he started to do was, I think, almost starting to change that perception of what you think a wide forward should actually do. You know, he's still in the mold, would we say, of a left midfielder, but he's playing a lot more further forward and closer to goal. And his defensive responsibilities, because of course the type of player that he was, his defensive responsibilities weren't as high as others. You know, he, of course, yes, you still got to do the bare minimum, but the manager starts to trust you a lot more in terms of further forward. Now we're looking at other players and we're saying, okay, because he's doing so well, we kind of need you to fill in these gaps, you know. Cristiano Ronaldo, he's another one that I hear, you know, former ex-players talk about in regards to, you know, the manager kind of requiring the team to kind of almost plug the gaps that he's going to leave by being further forward. And of course, one of the main things being the fact that the players who are playing out wide, now they're scoring players like Ronaldo, you know, the Ronaldinhos, the Lionel Messi's, but he's kind of a unique type of player, depending on what kind of role, false nine, attacking midfielder, whatever. These kind of players, now they're scoring more goals. Now they're actually equaling what strikers are getting. I mean, of course, we are talking about the elites, you know, in the Ronaldinhos and the Ronaldos, but because they're scoring so much more goals, and now you're looking to them in terms of your goal output, your assist output, it's now turning into, they've almost become these wide strikers, you know, so to speak. Thierry Henry was one of those players as well, you know, played up front, but he was someone who would always, you know, pull out to the left, and that's where he was getting most of his joy, most of his, you know, goals were starting from those kind of positions. And then of course he would end up in those central areas. So, you know, it was kind of like a mix and blend with strikers and wide forwards, you know, during this period of time. Then we move on, you know, to, you know, the era of kind of like the Ribéry's, the Robins, you know, those players who are, you know, creating and scoring so many goals. And then you move on again to the Mohamed Salahs, the Sadio Mane's, and then, you know, we're kind of in that kind of mix of now, you know, teams are looking to their left and right wingers who are now basically playing as inside forwards, closer to goal, basically as strikers, because the strikers are now dropping deeper and deeper into those kind of midfield positions. And then it allows the two wide men to play almost as two strikers, again, changing the roles and what you then expect from those players in a general sense. Whether or not it will change again, and, you know, we'll get back to a stage of the number 9 being your primary outsource, you know, 4 goals, you know, in a general sense, you know, where we're not now looking at our wide men and saying, hey, we need you to get 15 to 20 goals, you know, and we kind of share the load, you know, kind of thing. I think it will be potentially soon, you know, where we start looking at, you know, your traditional number 9s, your traditional centre forwards again in the same kind of way. But at this current moment in time, you know, it is the wide forwards, it is, you know, the wide players now who we do look to, you know, for that kind of creative outlet. But let's see if that might change. But as always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the evolution of a wide player and their roles in today's game. Will we see the traditional wide men ever coming back? Will we start to see the 4-4-2s come back in the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Catch you guys on the other side. Peace.